Hi and welcome to pmplounge.com. Today, the inspiration for this video is one of the comment on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/pmplounge. If you have not subscribed yet, go subscribe it for the best content available for free on PMP out there on the internet. So, getting back to it, the video is inspired by one of the comments wherein I had earlier mentioned about questions, possible questions that have too many words. So I thought that in today's video, we'll take an example of a question which is wordy, which is verbose, which has a lot of words, and the information is basically something which is not usable. So it's just too many words and too much information which is not required for you to arrive at the correct answer. And like I said in my earlier video as well, not everything given to you in the exam question, in the PMP exam question, is actually usable. So you are bound to see certain questions in your exam wherein you will realize that the information given in the question is actually not required to arrive at the right answer. So let's take a look at it at this example question. You are the project manager of a high profile software project for one of the biggest clients of your company. Your project was budgeted at 3 million US dollars for a period of 12 months. So the budget of the project was 3 million US dollars for a period of 12 months, and you are the project manager. In order to prepare the schedule, you had earlier prepared the WBS, which is work breakdown structure, and estimated the individual work item estimates. The work was assigned to the project team members on the basis of the schedule. 6 months down the line, the project seems to have overshot the cost. You were supposed to spend 1.2 million US dollars, but have actually spent 1.8 million US dollars. Not just that, the project is behind schedule as well. What could have possibly gone wrong? So this is an example of a question which has too much data, too much information, too many numbers, too many words, and the question is in the end, what could have possibly gone wrong? How could you answer a question like that? Well, you need to read the question at least a couple of times. If that doesn't help, read the options a couple of times. So in this case, let's take a look at the options. Option number one, the WBS was incomplete. Okay, but there is nothing in the question that says that WBS was incomplete. Activity sequencing was not properly done. Again, same as WBS being incomplete, there's nothing in the question that says that activity sequencing was not properly done. You cannot imagine situations and select an answer, right? Monte Carlo simulation technique was not used. Now, something to consider here is the fact that Monte Carlo technique is used for simulating project outcomes, right? So when you're simulating project outcomes, that's when you use Monte Carlo simulation technique. It is not used for estimation. So, well, this Monte Carlo simulation technique was not used is actually a good thing. It is not required to be used in this situation. Option 4, the individual estimates should have been made by the project team members, which sounds correct to me. And the answer, of course, is option 4. The individual estimates should have been made by project team members. Let's take a quick look at the question again. So we've gone through the answers, we have gone through the options, and we realized that the correct option was option 4, because WBS and activity sequencing is something which is not given in the question at all. We cannot imagine situations and select answer. Option 3, that talks about Monte Carlo simulation technique. Well, Monte Carlo simulation technique is not to be used in this scenario. And finally, the individual estimates should have been made by project team members is the correct option. That is something which has gone wrong. Let's take a look at the question. So what you see in the question, whatever that is marked as red is basically information which is not required. One of the biggest clients of your company, well, it's okay. I mean, the client can be one of the biggest in your company. You do not need to know this information. The budget US 3 million for 12 months, well, that is also not required. If you read the question twice and if you read the options twice, you'll realize that you don't need this data. If you read other text in red, like 6 months down the line, or you were supposed to spend this much, but actually spend this much, project is behind schedule, well, all of this is actually not required for you to answer the question. The question is what could have possibly gone wrong? And the text underlined and highlighted in green is what you required to answer this question, which is in order to prepare the schedule, you had earlier prepared the WBS and estimated the individual work item estimates. Well, individual work item estimates is not something you need to do. That is something which should come from the project team members. So PMI suggests that the estimates of individual work items should be made by the project team, which leads to their buy-in and their ownership. You cannot hand over a piece of work to a project team member and ask him or her to complete it in 3 days. Instead, if you share the piece of work with the project team member, during the time when you are estimating or you're making out the schedule, crafting the project schedule, crafting the estimates, and ask them for their recommended estimation, recommended time that they need to complete this task, that will lead to their buy-in and ownership of that particular piece of work. So that is what PMI suggests. The individual team members, they are also likely the subject matter experts, right? And can provide accurate estimates. A project manager is, of course, a superman, but may not have all the required technical knowledge and technical details to come up with estimations. So it is the job of the project team members to come up with the estimations, to come up with the schedule, to come up with the possible costs as well, right? To give their accurate estimates. If not the cost can be kind of gathered by the project manager. But the estimates need to come from the project team members and not from the project manager himself or herself. So the text highlighted in green and underlined is what you need. That is all that you need to answer this question with a lot of information, which has a lot of information, which has a lot of words. But when you look into crux, the crux is that you had earlier prepared the WBS and estimated the individual work items, which is something that should have been done by the project team members and not by you. So that was an example of a question which has a lot of words and a lot of information which is not really required or useful. Be prepared to see such questions in the exam because exam does contain certain questions which may have actually a lot of extra information which will not be useful for you to arrive at the answer. So, hope you liked the video. Do hit the like button if you did. And subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/PMP Lounge. Check us out on our social media, facebook.com/PMP Lounge and twitter.com/PMP Lounge. And as always, do check out the website, pmplounge.com, your number one free resource for PMP certification and project management industry information. In addition to that, We also support and cover a lot of PMI reports. So we download those reports, those are available for free, and we kind of share the crux of those reports so that you, as a certified project manager, if you're already certified, if you are not certified but looking for a certification but already are into the project management profession, these kind of information will be helpful for you to advance in your career and answer some of the job interview questions as well. So check those out in the playlist section of the YouTube channel and you can thank us later. All right. Bye bye.